Okay, now we are here with Professor Michael Northcott from what university?
University of Edinburgh.
University of Edinburgh in
Scotland.
Yeah.
And I just arrived for my breakfast, but it's okay, I'm happy to talk.
We are talking with him. We have scholars here, Professor Adana, Professor Diki, Professor Dundin. We are talking in this restaurant.
But I'm also a colleague of Diki because I'm also visiting professor at Indonesian Consortium of Religious Studies in the graduate school, Sekolah Bahasa Kasabiana of Universitas Gadjah Mada. So I have like 2 appointments.
Yeah. Just short talk with you. How long have you been here?
I arrived in ICRS in April 2019, so nearly 3 years.
Nearly 3 years. And what are you doing here? Research, writing book?
Research and teaching, postgrad, supervising PhD. Like right now I'm writing a book called God and Gaia.
Can you talk about the short content about the book?
The book is about the theory, the scientific theory that came from an English scientist called James Lovelock. He worked for NASA, he worked for the Shell Oil Company, he's also self-employed, but he invented many famous devices, including the electron capture device, which is a very, very precision instrument for measuring pollution in the air. And that's probably his biggest invention. After that, he came up with the idea that the air of the atmosphere of the planet is kept in the equilibrium of temperature and oxygen for life, 21%. I don't wear a mask. 18% if you wear a mask. That oxygen percentage comes from the rocks, like this is from rock, right? It comes from the trees, it comes from the plants, it comes from the soil, the water, all interacting. And producing the atmosphere that makes it possible for us to evolve as primates. So this is the first time in modern science someone proposed that the planet is alive. Now in Hinduism, you have the idea of Vishnu as a life force. So Vishnu is very highly worshipped or celebrated, honored in Bali, in the like Brahma, Vishnu, Shiva, but all 3 are honored, but Vishnu very important. So the idea of the life force flowing through everything, through me and you, through the leaf.
So it's universal, universal life force.
Like how you describe it in scientific terms, you can talk about frequency. Everything has frequency. I mean, this phone is capturing a certain kind of frequency, electrical frequency. But everything has electrical current. My skin has electrical current. The hairs on my skin. How you know a mosquito land on me? It's electricity, frequency. This leaf, when it's alive, this plant, has an electrical current. So for me, this is the scientific, electricity is a scientific way of talking about the vibration, the frequency. But in the old religions, was understood to be the life force, the interconnecting force. And one of the ways that in religion we access that is music. So here in Bali, of course, you have the Gamelan Orchestra. And for some time, like 2020, they went quiet because of the COVID regulation. And for Balinese, but also for me, it's very sad because I not hear that sound. And I remember I came back to my hotel one night on the motorbike, and I heard the sound again. It was like September 2020. I raced back down the valley, across the bridge, and up the other side, and I saw them practicing the Gamelan again.
You live in Bahasa?
Mainly in Ubud. I live mainly in Ubud. But my point about the Gamelan and other orchestras is that they are accessing the frequency, the harmony of the earth, which we I'm a Christian, but Hindu also believe it, Muslim also believe it. That harmony is part of the structure that God put in the earth. But the Hindu belief, but I think you can also say the Christian belief that it's not just about the beginning. God continues to live in the earth. Well, some people say, oh, that's pantheism. But Catholic talk about the spirit, which is in sustaining creation. Hindu talk about Vishnu, but Hindu also talk about Brahma, the high God. They don't say that Brahma is living in the rock. But the life force is in the rock, not Brahma, not the God of gods, if you like. Same in Christianity. The God of gods, he creates the wind, the breath. In Genesis, they talk about the breath of God. And it says, like almost like a spaceship, the breath hover on the water and draws life. And after that, the earth brings forth fruit. The earth sprouts plants. So before the Spirit came, the earth was not fertile. After the Spirit came, the earth starts to be alive. And this is the same as, to me, as the Gaia theory. The earth is alive, not dead. And the reason we over-harvest, take too much, destroy the inherent resilience of ecosystem is because of scientism. Modern scientism, it teaches us that it's just matter. It's dead, not alive.
Inanimate object.
So you believe that if we go back to our the core of the religion, the core of our belief, it will affect our behavior toward the environment.
But only if we connect it with modern science. We have to connect it because science is now the dominant culture. I mean, some of us here are wearing masks. Why? Because some scientists, not all, but some claim that wearing a medical mask in an open air space will have a good effect on your health. Other scientists disagree. The point about science is it's a culture of disagreement. It's not a culture of consensus. But my point about the Gaia theory is that Lovelock and others are saying that the scientists in the 18th century who said the earth was like a machine of rock. Earth is alive. And this scientific theory is the revival of religious belief that the earth is alive. And so to me, it's not just about restating the old faith. It's about connecting the traditions of our different faiths with the latest science about frequencies, about vibrations. I mean, for example, in my own health, I now use a lot of frequency, which are recorded. You can go on YouTube, and different frequencies like 528 kilohertz are what we call them healing frequencies. So people work now, and some people argue that the future of medicine will be frequencies, not drugs. You don't have to cut people open. You can heal their organs with frequencies. And I have experienced this. I listened to one that helped my teeth, another one helped my hearing, one helped my eyes. I played them in the night. They're quite magical. We think it's not what the point about it.
You know, I'm practicing reflexology.
Oh, really?
Reflexology is about frequency.
It's the same.
I agree with you.
It's connected. And it's about the chi, and in reflexology you can touch, but even you don't need to touch. The influence can come just by coming close. There's a vibration between the two. The same with the person. One reason I don't like the social distancing. It's very American. Americans are very individualistic. They talk a lot about personal space. But if you are 6 feet apart from someone, your heart and their heart are no longer connected. About 3 feet, the two hearts, so my heart and Kuta's heart, are interacting now. Because the electrical current between us. So if you keep everybody apart, you break that. You break the connection. And that was, in the West, the worst thing about COVID. People became depressed, sad, mental health went down. Because some of them really believe, we must stay 2 meters apart, we must wear masks, we must not go outside, we must not... Now, Indonesia, I mean, you're going to put this online, let's be honest. I live in kampongs 2 years plus during COVID. I never saw Indonesian practice social distancing. They never did it, and I'm happy because for them the connection between people is more important. Yeah, maybe they wear masks, but they don't practice it. So it's so contrary to their culture, and that's good. That's why I'm here, because this is more connected culture. So I think that we never really lost the sense of connection between people, which we lost in the West. Especially in my life. I lived in America for 3 years. But I think you are in danger of losing the connection with nature. And that's what I hope maybe in some small way in my book, and if I translate it in the world, it can help with that. I use example from Hinduism, Catholicism, from Islam, in the book. I try to be right in our interreligious mode, not only as a Christian akhir.
I love to read your book.
Thank you very
Is
much.
there any timeline to publish?
I have to submit it. Supposed to be end of February, but then I got the flu in January, and so it slowed me down. So the publisher gave me 1 more month. So end of March it should be finished. I have a whole manuscript now. I'm just kind of revising it, fixing this. A friend in Australia is reviewing it. That friend wrote a book on magic and science and religion. You should get him to come to the conference.
Yeah, it must be a very interesting book, and I would like to invite you to come to my place in Kalimantan.
I'd love to come. I've not been to the eastern side. I've only been to the Malaysian side of Borneo. And I love Borneo, like Sarawak and Sabah, but I have not been on the eastern side. I mean, Kuching, and I traveled like all up the Rajang River, and I've been to Kenapatangan Reserve and Cebu and many
So can
places.
we exchange number?
Yeah, sure.
later after
Yeah,
this.
great.
So we can keep in touch.
Yeah, I hope so. Yeah,
My name is Martinez Nanang. Martin,
Martinez.
you can
Right.
call me Martin or Nanang.
Martin or Nana. Yeah. So my name is Michael. Great to meet you.
Yeah.
Very good.
Nice to meet you.
Yes. Okay.
Okay, sudah. That was the short interview with Professor Michael. I think I myself, I'm very interested in his topic, in his studies. So I would like to have a further discussion with him about this issue, especially about environment, forest, and so on, based on how it connects to our religious belief. Because forest and environment in Kalimantan is already much degraded, deforested, is very high at high level. So, sampai ketemu lagi.